So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. So you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pushing till I fall, I'm slipping to get back up. the pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Wednesday evening. We're going to do a little bit of news catch up. Markets didn't have a great day today, and we will, of course, do a debrief on BYND. We talked about BYND on Saturday, that it could be a good play this week. It has been a great play this week. I got in Monday morning pre-market, exited my trade on Tuesday afternoon. It was still running this morning, so we live streamed it. I attempted to get back in on a little pullback, but as I told you guys on the live today, if I run very tight stop loss on risky plays like this. Once it started going down, I exited that trade and then took the rest of the day off and hung out with the wifey. She's at work now, so we can all just hang out here for a bit. And let's see what we got going on. BYND this morning in pre-market, of course, hitting $8.85. I had some of y'all message me this evening saying you made a metric ton of money on BYND. Some of y'all had options that you closed out this morning as soon as the market opened that were huge, bigly in the green. Good job. My message for the past couple days with BYND has been very simple. Momentum trades are fun, but make sure you're peeling off profits, because once they start collapsing, it's hard to predict for any of us when they start collapsing, but once they do, it's often quick and violent. And I never want to see you guys leaving money on the table. And we can talk about tonight if there's a chance for round two. There could be a chance for round two. There's sometimes is, not always, on these type of tickers. And what else? Oh, we in after hours got as low as about 250, and right now on the overnight it's down 12% at $3.14 US. She is on a night shift right now. Yeah, baby, four nights a week. We'll look into HOLO. Someone's asking if we can look into HOLO. IMPP is also moving. Remember IMPP from like 2021, 2022 time frame? I think if I recall correctly, back in that day when that one was squeezing, if I recall, that's a Greek oil tanker shipping company. Oh man, those Greek companies and the shipping companies. I got a long history. I remember as a young trader trying to trade some shipping companies. It never ended very well. But IMPP, we can take a peek at it. It is moving because of this news right here. Oil jumps 3% after Trump admin sanctions big Russian oil companies. So, of course, just the news, that news was enough to send some oil-related stocks up, like IMPP. and we'll take a quick look at it before we get into Beyond while we're waiting for folks to come in. So IMPP in after hours jumped from $5 to $7. 40% run. Now, I bet if we pull back and look at the entire history of this thing, yeah, it's trading well. It fell from back in the day when it was fun, back in 2022, $145 was the high. Fell all the way down to 98 cents, but I think I might have looked into IMPP once since 2023, and it looked like they were, if I recall correctly, I think they were kind of fixing their financials. This was never an investable company. This was just momentum squeeze plays back then. It was never an investable company, which is why it fell to $1. But I think they kind of fixed some things and got some new ships. I don't remember. We can check. And they've been trading in this $1-2 range up to $5. Now look at this. Since April, it's been on a steady monthly uptick. So good job if you're in that one, or if you've been underwater in it, if you've been bag holding it for a long time, maybe you get an exit here. Thank you, Donald. We shall see. Baby says, did you see Hycroft calls pumped end of day? I saw that Hycroft had a really sweet low, HYMC, in early hours. I added a little more Hycroft yesterday. I wish I would have added some at market open today. Look at this, it was below $7 for a few minutes. I have not looked at the options chain. I'm not playing any options on Hycroft. It's a speculative trade for me. I have a small position on general bullishness, a roll the dice on silver and gold and Hycroft's upcoming technical report, which should be available before the end of this year. And as we have said on Hycroft, don't mess around with these junior miners unless you're very bullish on silver and gold. If you're not bullish on silver and gold, do not mess around with these stocks. If you don't follow junior miners and you don't know how they work, do not mess around with these stocks. If you're a gambler like Eric Sprott and you think that maybe there's some promising news coming out and you're bullish, promising news on Hycroft on that technical report, and you are bullish on silver and gold, then go ahead and give it a swing. I've only ever swing traded Hycroft, but I am now holding a position and crossing my fingers. I have no promises for you guys. Yes, Corey. 1 second. Corex, you were watching what, IMPP? Let's take a quick look at IMPP, then we'll pull up Corey's. Thank you for the super chat, Corey. I just want to finish my train of thought here on IMPP. Back in the day, in 2022, as I recall, it was a bit of a mess. Let's just refresh our memory. 97 million in revenue. Fiscal year 2024, 147 million. Operating income was still positive for the year 2022. They have doubled it in the last, or up 50% or so in the last 2 years. Net income. Yeah, I mean, they've been steadily improving their financials. There has been some dilution, I see. Earnings per share has fallen, even though revenue and income are up, just because of the dilution. They do have positive free cash flow and positive margins, so it's not as horrible as I remember it being. And even looking back now, I mean, 2022, it's not as bad as I remember it being. Maybe we were just saying back in 2022, this price action is not, we can't tie it to the fundamentals of the stock. So just play it as momentum. Cash on hand, 67 million. Let's go to trailing 12 months, 127 million, 84 million in short-term investments, 212 altogether. That's pretty good. Working capital 81 million and shareholders equity 445. Yeah, balance sheet's okay. Positive operating cash flow. Yeah, it's not a horrible company. And I guess we'll see how the news with old Trumpy and Russia ends up affecting IMPP. It could definitely be one to keep an eye on, or maybe for the boldest of the bold, you know, if you think it's going to get juice into pre-market tomorrow, see if there's any pullback opportunities tonight. Korak says, even with oil falling, if you think the economy is strong, it's a solid play because regardless of price, you still have to transport the oil. Let's see if I can get an update on how many ships they have. I just remember back in my 20s hearing about, shipping companies, these got to be good, right? Oil shipping companies. And then I started reading, you know, back then we had to read the 10Ks. They were like 60-page booklets they would mail us. And I was like, what? They have, not IMPP, whichever company it was. Wish I could remember. It's like 30, 40 years ago. What? They have 5 ships and they're all 20 years old? What the heck? Oh, they need to dilute to buy some new ships? Yeah, we just got continually wrecked. No stats here. Let me see if Grok can help me out because I don't want to spend any time looking this up. How large is IMPP's fleet? 9 tankers. I mean, that's 19 vessels. 19 vessels as of the second quarter. 9 tankers, 10 dry bulk carriers. That is up from up 4 vessels from 2024. So yeah, I guess they've been probably diluting what to raise cash to buy more ships. Baby says, I'm hoping whenever gold rebounds, so does Hycroft. That is my hope too, baby. I've done very well swing trading Hycroft, and I feel a little nervous. I'll be honest, buying around these prices. Because if gold and silver tank, you know, Hycroft's going to tank right along with it. But I'm going to ride with Eric Sprott. It's not something I have done for the past 3 years, not at all. Because you got to get to that phase of where they're just about ready to publish a study. We're almost to the finish line here. So I'm ready to cross my fingers and pray a little bit. All right, Corey says, can we take a look at MP Materials? He says he's in at 62, sold covered calls at 75. Sounds like an interesting trade. Let's look at the chart. In at 62. How long you been in it, Corey? I'm guessing what, since about early September? Hopefully, and what kind of calls are you selling? Are they weeklies? That's another key part of the question. When we're running the wheel here, you know, most of the traders in my Discord are selling weekly calls, so we don't have to worry about long-term exposure. But that is a part of the question. And while you're answering that, I'm going to bring up what's going on here with MP financials. Forecast $68, analyst average forecast. We got an upgrade from Lawson Winder with 112 on October 15th. That was just a week ago. I like that. What the heck kind of materials are we talking about? Oh, rare earth mineral materials. Okay. Owns and operates Mountain Pass rare earth mine in San Bernardino. Well, that is there's a bit of a conundrum going on with rare earth metals right now with China, right? Are they mining anything that is different than what's going on with China? Like, do we have a fallback here, or is this different rare earth? It says they have a magnetic segment that produces the magnetic precursor products. If I recall correctly, because I've just been driving by headlines, that is part of what the problem is with China right now, right? These magnetic rare metals. Income, revenue. Okay. Negative. How can you be mining rare earth minerals and not just be killing it? They got revenue, but they're not making any money. No dilution. Cash and equivalents falling. Working capital is okay. Shareholders' equity is okay. They're just barely not making it in the most recent quarter. Negative 3.6 on operating cash flow. CapEx, it's fallen in the last 2 years from 73 million a quarter to 29 million a quarter. Long-term debt, none really, it looks like. Wait, no, balance sheet, hello. They do have long-term debt, but they are bringing it down. Revenue trend going forward looks positive, according to the analyst who I'm going to trust here for a minute. Earnings growth looks good. I mean, it looks like it is probably a solid play for the long term. You might be more worried about what are you going to do right now with your position at 62, was it? 62, sold covered calls at 75. I mean, I'm assuming that you're following the basic rules of if it hits 75, you're okay with exiting the trade at that. It seems like a pretty reasonable level. If I'm looking here at the chart going back several months, that's we had a 75 right here, 75 right here, and it bounced back down. It seems like a reasonable level to sell covered calls where there's a pretty good chance that you'll be able to keep your stock and keep the premium unless things really get crazy with China and it runs up. But in that case, you're gonna get a good exit, a profitable exit on your stock, plus the sweetener of selling the calls. So now you're worried about maybe, is it going to drop below 62? I would have to, I can't tell you that on a live stream right now. We'd have to go back and see what was the catalytic event back in July that made it jump from 30 bucks up to 50, 60 bucks. If that, whatever that was, could that unwind and we drop back down to this range? But based on what I'm seeing from what the analysts are forecasting, it looks relatively safe. How you feeling? What do you think? Korak says, I want to know what happened that there were positive earnings. We talking IMPP? Marius, no, I was just talking through Corey's question up here with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Corey. And let me know some other thoughts down in the chat. Did you buy MP thinking that you're going to hold it for the next several years? It looks like it could be a good hold. All right, some of y'all are here for BYND, so let's talk about that for a minute. I still have up on the screen what I think has been at the bottom of your screen right here, what I think has been the most important piece of information to know since Friday. And we talked about this on Saturday. So I'm not trying to FUD you. I entered the trade on Monday morning. We still talked on Saturday that you must understand that the float increased on BYND. And man, these people have been blowing up my Twitter the past couple days saying I'm wrong, I work for the shorts, I'm a liar, blah, blah, blah. I call these people head in the sand traders, and we also call them pumpers. They don't want you to know that the shares out are 397 million, even though you can read it right on the company's investor relations page. I posted a Bloomberg terminal screenshot over the weekend, or in the last day or so. People got really mad. How dare you tell people, how dare you inform people with facts, Tony, that the float is 373 million? I don't do that to scare you guys. I do it to arm you with good information so that you understand when I'm telling you, take some profits off, why I'm saying that. Because there are plenty of shares out there for the shorts to borrow if they want to. And it's just a matter of them getting to the point where they think they have the upper edge and then pressing it. And that's what happened this morning around 11:30. I was honestly hoping, I entered my trade right around 11:30 for today, hoping that that was going to be the magic hour like the last 2 days and we'd get a run up. And that did not happen, so I immediately exited the trade. As soon as I got in, it just kept going down. I'm not going to sit there and watch all my gains from yesterday get wiped out on a bad trading day today on the same damn ticker. And that's what I said today when I took the trade. I said, I'm going to have ruthless rules here. If it starts going against me, I'm out. I'm not going to sit around and second guess myself. We've been through too many of these, and I hate to see myself or any of you leave money on the table. And as always with many of these tickers, this whole story about the float, this is not the first time we've had a situation like this where companies do a recapitalization or they change the float, or there's a convertible conversion, or any number of things, the share purchase agreements. And it literally will take places like Ortex or your brokers a week, sometimes weeks, to catch up with the correct information. And then that fateful day, you get the short report update, which we should get an update on Friday. All of a sudden, everybody will realize, oh, Tony was right this whole time. Now it's going to say the shares out is 390 and the float is 370. You'll see that on Friday. You'll see that on... No. Well, I don't know if you'll see that on Friday because it's through October 15th, and that's when the chains came off, right? The chains came off on the 16th. Maybe we won't see it in this report. Maybe we got to wait till November 1st report. But trust me, the float is not what you think it is. If you've been following people that tell you the short interest is 62% based on a float of 63, that is stale, old, incorrect information. And we see this all the time, this type of what I call head in the sand pumping, trading, data sharing. People that don't really read the filings, they just check a website and then go and screenshot it and go with it, and then they convince themselves this is correct. Marius says that was a lie made by one of the biggest pumpers and people just believed it. Marius, I cannot tell you how many tickers I've had this conversation with people in the last 4 years, and we have never one time been wrong. It's just a matter of, you got to trust me. You could read the filings yourself. And that's what I really would encourage you to do. But if you don't know how, you're lazy, don't have time, sometimes you got to trust. You got to figure out who to trust out here. I have no incentive to lie to you about the float. I want you to have the best information when you're making these high risk trades. Doesn't mean don't trade it. It means add that to your risk calculation, your exit strategy. That a lot of people are trading on bad info, and that's fine. Let them trade on bad info. They will run it up and let us make money. But at some point, those people that believe that shit are going to get wrecked. And I don't want you to be one of those people. OTF, what are we talking? Is it time to buy back in on BYND? That's kind of the next question. I'm going to run a poll here and see how you guys are feeling before I tell you my answer. Is it time? Owning the float, are you still in GameStop? Is it time to... now let's see. You know I'm long GameStop now, OTF, right? And I bought some warrants, extra warrants. Do you love me now? Andrew, thank you, sir. The Rawfish King says I averaged down from 669, holding at 455. No, don't tell me that on BYND. I'm going to pray for you guys that are holding. I'm going to pray for you. I'm not doing anything. I'm out of my trade. I'm not doing anything until I see what happens overnight, what happens pre-market. If I'm up at 5 a.m. and it's moving up with some velocity like this, I might play it for a couple minutes while the volume is thin. But gosh, man, it's so hard. I've seen too many of these where they just fucking smack it down. And what the other thing besides knowing that the float is increased, the other thing that we got to look at is what is the cost to borrow and why. Okay, Interactive Brokers has 0 shares available as of 10:15. Where's the other update? No update. You bastards. The other thing that we want to be aware of, and this is really your debrief homework for the weekend. I don't think you need to worry about it right now. Hopefully, if you're trading BYND right now, you are only trading it for this week, and you're only trading it for momentum, because there is this vote coming up that you must be aware of. Did I open the right filing? Wednesday, November 19th. That is so far off that if you're just swing trading or momentum trading BYND, you probably don't need to be worried about this. But if you're thinking that you want to buy the dip and hold this thing for the recovery, you better go read this proxy and all the proposals. And maybe I'll do a video on it over this weekend. It's not anything we need to worry about today. But I think there's a lot more dilution headed their way. Potential, at least the company's trying to open the doors to being able to raise more cash. So even if the shorts, you think you got them over a barrel right now, if they got big enough pockets, they know what's coming up in 30 days. Just something to be keep in your back pocket. Like I said, hopefully you're not in this trade to hold it for the long term. Let's get this vote out of the way. That proxy, just the quick read that we did on it yesterday, scares me to death for long-term holders. Chris says, give us your honest opinion. I think you're going to tell us you think it's over already. I mean, based on what I'm seeing on the chart here, Chris, today was a capitulation day, and those are typically followed by more selling. Shorts feeling more emboldened. Have I ever seen a second bounce on the next day? Yeah, of course, we have seen it. And I will also tell you that on the cases where we see that, if my memory serves me correctly, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I'm talking about the totality of all these plays we've seen. If there is a second bounce, it usually, people will say, don't forget GameStop in 2021 though. But usually the second bounce does not come anywhere close to this peak. I'm talking like, we got to think about what are the norms here. The norms are it keeps going down. The second norm is if it recovers, it doesn't bounce this high again. So if you're lucky, if you're underwater and you get a bounce tomorrow, it might be good to think about taking an exit and say, well, at least I didn't lose money. Very small outside chance you get another major run, but I just don't see what is the catalyst at this point. It's going to sink into people that the float has increased and that the shorts got the upper hand today. Every day is a battle until full capitulation happens on one side. Tomorrow's another battleground day. We got so far 57% of you think that it could revive on Thursday. It certainly could. I have seen them revive, but typically when they do, they don't go all the way back up. It could fall even, back down to $1 and then have a revival back up to $2. That, I might feel less scared dabbling again at $1. Maria says that Reddit is full of loss memes already that will kill all the retail momentum. That's the thing, when the psychology on these FOMO plays, and I do not call this a short squeeze. I know the thumbnail says short squeeze, but I don't call it a short squeeze because I know that the float changed. I know that it's not 62% short interest. It's about 10%. I don't actually know what the shorted shares are. So I can't tell you for sure if it's 10%, 20%. I know it's not 62. So this was a algo high-speed trader retail FOMO run until the shorts decided it was the risk to reward ratio for them to come in and snuff it was there, and that they decided around $9 was a good point to give us a spanking. Where's OTF? He says he just crossed 9,500 shares of GameStop. Holy shit, man. Serious? He's got them big diamond ice balls, OTF. 9,500 shares. He's way crazier than me. Correx says we got an announcement today. Some of the bondholders are exercising their convertibles. Where was that, Correx? I saw there was another 13D filing. Where did you see that there were convertibles being exercised? Is that happening now or happening in November? Matt says he did not jump in today. Probably the right move, Matt. I was willing to give it beyond one more shot today. You know, we've seen these runs extend, and the hype was high, the sentiment was high, but in the end of the day, the Bears won. For today, anyways, for today. If it's popping tomorrow, I'll live stream tomorrow. If it's going down tomorrow, just remember tonight's conversation. Robert says they should dilute if the price goes over 20. Yeah, do they have available shares to dilute with? I know they're wanting to increase the outstanding shares to like 3 billion. Andrew says, if you try and go long beyond, get ready to hold for years. I'm just going to tell you guys, if you're thinking about going long and becoming an investor and beyond, you're going to be holding it for years if it survives. I don't want to have that conversation with you about, well, I know I'm in the red on my swing trade, so I guess I'm an investor now. You're going to be an investor for a long ass time. And even then with an uncertain outcome. OTF says, where is the Massalorian? You know, we keep on playing phone tag. I've reached out to him. Mediocre's reached out to him. The last time I talked to him, he was coming back from his outside the country vacation. And he was moving back to Boston area. And he was going to try and get a job or something, get settled. And then he just fell off. He fell off the face of the earth. And I have communicated with him, leaving him a voicemail or a text, and he'll answer me back and saying, hey, T, I'll call you. And then he never calls. And the same thing with Mediocre. He'll leave a message saying, he'll leave a message saying he wants to catch up, and then we never follow up. So he must just be busy, OTF, or he's not doing stocks anymore. I don't know. We'd even hang out with him and do a politics live stream. If he wanted. But he must have other shit going on. There's no bad blood between any of us. Not that I know of anyways. Every time I've talked to him, he's always been a good friend, good conversation, but he got a lot of shit going on in his life too. Richie says, what was my entry price on Beyond? It was under $1 in pre-market on Monday, Richie. Wedmore says, didn't he go full conspiracy theory? I think he was always full conspiracy theory, Wedmore. He used to do some political live streams, and I would tell him, you know, you just do those by yourself, because I don't want to get in the politics stuff on YouTube. I'm too worried about them shutting down channels. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, he's always been conspiracy theory on a lot of stuff. And I got no problem with anybody that is. But let's just not talk about that stuff. Let's talk about the things we have in common. OTF, while you're here, I'm really curious, in 1 or 2 sentences, how you felt about the Ryan Cohen question about Roaring Kitty. Brandon E says, on the side of hope for Beyond, it closed in the after hours with a little bull flag. It did. I see that here. We had this little bitty glimmer of hope. It recovered from 250 all the way back up to 325. So the overnight trading, that's why I say keep an eye on it overnight, keep an eye on it when you wake up. Let's see what happens here. Do we have full capitulation overnight? There's not usually a lot of institutional trading overnight, but good Lord, man, the volume on this thing overnight has just been insane. Huge amount of trading going on this ticker 24 hours a day. And you know who I'm really mad at? Ortex. I'm mad at Ortex for telling people that the short interest is still 60%. They know better. They have not updated their shares outstanding, and they're putting out tweets. The squeeze is still on at BYND. Man. I used to pay them money for a subscription, and then sometimes I think on days like this week that they're working with the bad guys. They want you to have bad information. OTF says he heard the clip from Kitty and about Kitty and Cohen in one ear and out the other, just noise. Well, I'm sure, much like myself, OTF, you're at the point where you think GameStop, they got a lot of cash, they got no bankruptcy risk. There very well could be at a pivot point on positive operational earnings. I know that, I know it's positive, but I'm talking about posting multiple quarters of increasing operational profits. And we got the other possible bullishness of the power pack. So doesn't really matter what Roaring Kitty thinks, what Ryan Cohen thinks about Roaring Kitty. If you're on board with that Ryan Cohen plan and you have the right time frame in mind, and you're not like my only counsel, I know you didn't ask for it, and I don't even know how you feel, but my only counsel for myself and other GameStop investors is maybe put the MOAS theory on the back shelf and just enjoy the ride of a company with a lot of cash, a lot of optionality to do something with that cash. And if they can keep booking improvements on operations and expanding collectibles, higher margins, it could end up, we could have a little edge right now before the institutional traders really start believing in this company. I still call it speculative because we don't have enough data behind us yet. But for those of you that like to gamble a little bit and you get a good entry, it could end up being a good play, GameStop. It certainly seems pretty safe unless the entire market crashes. The housing specialist, New York City, says I had 350 shares of BYND. I got out with $1,900 thanks to you. Yes. That's what I like to hear, my friend. Ring that register. Sometimes, I'm going to remind you guys, you got to see beyond the hype. I know it's tough. I know it hurts. But it's perfectly fine to be optimistic, but you got to watch the chart and you got to know the real background deets. You're right, Dan. The offering documents of GameStop talk about high volatility, short squeeze. I mean, I'm not saying I would rule it out, but we also gotta we gotta factor in that the GameStop trade has changed, right? You got $4 billion in convertible bonds. You got the warrants. We have this thing we call dilution overhang. You're going to need to have a catalyst big enough to overcome all of that. Could it happen? Sure. Ryan Cohen has some fantastical announcement, or even Roaring Kitty coming back could push us above that. But we're going to have some resistance, some pretty strong resistance in that 28 to 32 range. Certainly, I would take it if it can push through, but I'm not going to sit here and live stream every night telling you that it's going to the moon, rockets tomorrow. Just get a good entry and be patient. It's a pretty decent financial statement. And then hope that Ryan executes on what he's been executing on, carving out cost improving margins, then it's just a numbers game and a patience game at that point. Marius says the GME PE is like 3 for the current price. I thought we were at about 27, Marius. Logan says Cohen can't make money off shares during a squeeze and he wants the company to thrive. So until GameStop price soars on fundamentals, he really can't make money on the company. Ryan Cohen's cost basis is so cheap that he himself is never going to do bad. Even if it fell all the way to book value, he's so far in the green, he could walk away very happy with himself. I don't think GameStop is going to fall to book value. But even if it did, he's always going to have a good trade for himself. Let's take a peek. What do we? GME. PE is 29 and the forward PE is 25. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I've been talking about a PE for GameStop that the market kind of wants to push it to, that retail and other bullish traders keep pushing back on, of something similar to competitors like a BBY. So we got a forward PE here of 25 for GameStop. BBY is 22. Current 12 forward. So, you know, somewhere in this 15 to 22 range, it feels pretty safe for me. That's why I'm okay buying GameStop at 21 bucks, 21 and change. The PE ratio would be even lower. And for me, that feels good. I'm a gambler. Don't follow my trades. The bears are going to hate me for saying I'm buying GameStop at 21. They can go kick rocks. It's not my only holding. I'm not an elitist. It's just one more ticker in the portfolio. But I feel pretty good, you know, for being a gambler. I feel pretty good buying GameStop in the $21 range. The GameStop elitist channels hate me because they're telling you buy it at 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32. And I say no. I say be patient. Patience wins. Andrew says, people really want to cry about fake meat. What you think they were serving in New York City public schools? What are they? I don't know. What are they serving in the public schools? Is it like beyond chili? I think, you know, we've had a problem in cafeterias with soy-based meat products or soy filler meat products for a long time. Kev says, do you think the pullbacks in the market are because of the shutdown and no government spending? I have not been thinking that, Kevin. I wanted to go over a couple more headlines with you guys before we close up for tonight. Tesla reported revenue growth after 2 down quarters. And why is the stock still falling? So I think it was down, what, 3% in overnight. Earnings missed estimates as CapEx jumped. I did not listen to this call, so I'll need to do that in the morning. Maybe we'll do a update video. Of all the EV companies, Tesla is the one that I'm most likely to trade or own, just because they dominate and all the rest are money losing, fine cars, but money losing companies. So I do like to try and keep up with Tesla. I do trade it from time to time. stock or options. I don't have a position at the moment. It's at 422. So we have Tesla pushing down a little bit. We have some Meta layoff news. We got international tensions and tariffs and Trump rattling cages. Oil now. Oil sanctions. Trump arguing with cattle ranchers in the U.S. Oh, look at this. Now he's demolishing the entire east wing of the White House. What the? I need to read that later. Amazon switching to robots, saying it will save up to $4 billion a year. We need to dig into that too. I like saving $4 billion a year. Gold and silver back in the green, thank goodness. $40.94 on gold, let's call it $48 on silver. Robert says, any chance that Netflix will affect AMC share price? I think there's going to be a lot of opinions about that, Robert. Here's my initial thoughts. I have said on Twitter that I find the fact that the two companies are talking intriguing. That's about all I'm willing to commit to right now. I'm intrigued. I'd like to hear more. I'd like to see them work together. What do we know right now? AMC is going to show the, what is that, the anime movie again later this month at like 400 screens. And they're going to show the Stranger Things season finale on December 31st. These are tiny steps. 400 screens for Demon Hunters is not a lot out of 10,000, 9,000. But it's a step. It's offering an olive branch. The two companies are talking. They're feeling each other out. I think it would be good for both companies to get some working partnership. But as Adam Aaron has said, they don't want to be pressured to taking Netflix's demand for shorter theatrical windows and then that undermining the deals that they're making with other studios. So I understand the delicate balance here. To get more directly to your question, do I think that Netflix is going to impact AMC's price right now, based on the information I know? I would say no. Could the potential for me to change my mind based on new information occur? Absolutely. There's only right now. Oh, by the way, thank you for bringing up AMC. I just scheduled 4 live streams for the next 2 weeks. It will be, the first one is tomorrow morning. If you're trading or speculating in the entertainment segment, the companies I've been buying are Cinemark, IMAX, and Marcus Corp. All 3 of them have their earnings before AMC. I don't own any AMC, have not since November because of the weak quarters this year, the cash burn, the dilution, and the vote that I've been telling y'all for a year that was going to happen. I was expecting the vote to be in June, but they tricked me. They didn't have it till December. So I've been having to sit this trade out for much longer than I thought. But maybe I'll get back in AMC once that vote is behind us, or the next dilution that comes out of it. We'll see. But if you're following any of these companies, even if you're just an AMC, I want you to pay attention to the earnings of IMAX tomorrow morning. Will be live. Then we have Cinemark and Marcus Corp. And then AMC announced theirs, I think, on November 5th. But we'll have 3 heads up in advance. And there's always a lot more questions from analysts on IMAX and Cinemark than AMC, at least the last few calls. So this is where you get your intel of what is likely to happen on AMC's call. And I've already published my expectations video for Q3. I published what I think the earnings are going to be, and I think they're going to be pretty bad. But let's see what IMAX and Cinemark have to say. Feek says Stranger Things finale will be huge. I'm going to just say, Feek, and for all of y'all, I don't watch Stranger Things. We tried to watch the first episode a couple times and never even made it through the first episode. So, you know, I probably need to go read up on how big is it going to be. Because, you know, sometimes there are things going on in entertainment, like the Demon Slayer thing. I don't watch that. That was huge. You know, that was a huge bonus, and now they're doing round 2. I'm just happy. I'm happy that stuff like that happens. I'm happy that there are some younger people and different demographics that we can get in the theater to watch this stuff. I love it. Richie Rich says, minute 27:58 of this video, you indicated I entered my trade. That was the trade I asked price question about. Instead, you gave me first purchase price. So, well, try your question again, Richie, because I'm not following, I guess. Are you asking about my first entry or where I tried to enter today? Today, I tried to enter around 11:30 Eastern when it was trying to decide between $6 and $5.50 what it was going to do. I took 2 entries and then I had to almost immediately exit because it started tanking. Chris says the overnight trading session doesn't represent the price action happening in other countries. I would say, why not, Chris? I don't look at other countries, but if it is different on any ticker between one country to another, that is an arbitrage opportunity for some institutional firm. Go long where it's cheap and go short where it's expensive. Typically, those kind of discrepancies don't last very long. Because they'll be arbed out. I did see there was a tweet from old Adam about his priorities for 2026. Let's talk about that real quick, and while I'm waiting for Richie to type his question in. His 3 highest innovation priorities for 2026 are more premium large format screens, the use of AI. We've been waiting for AMC to start the AI buzzword. That everybody loves the AI buzzword. Increase our use of AI to become more efficient and to dazzle our guests. And he says, secure the rights to show professional and college sporting events. Just show the right ones, Adam. Like you said on the last call, like I couldn't watch my college games in my own town because of the local restrictions. Like, work that shit out. Sometimes it's hard to get a ticket at the stadium here, even though our stadium seats 50,000 people. I'd pay to go watch a game in a theater. If I could buy some beer too, heck yeah. Y'all know I was pretty hard on old AMC about their, what did he call that plan to spend a bunch of money? The Go plan. I was pretty hard on them at first, but as I dug into the Go plan, I started to realize that a lot of the investment that he's talking about, the premium theater upgrades, IMAX, Dolby, the 4D seats, all of that stuff that they're planning, a lot of that is actually financed by these other companies. Dolby provides financing. The IMAX provides financing. The 4D company, they would not answer me. I think they're out of Korea. The projector company provides financing. They offer projectors as a service. And so a lot of my fears about AMC spending billions of dollars of our cash, those fears kind of went away, and I just view it as an increase in OPEX over time, which is better. You know, you need to get those PLF screens up. So I'm not too mad when he says that he's going to focus on more PLF screens. Good. And I think they will spread the cost out over time. So I'm not going to complain about that this time around. But more importantly than what he's tweeting, I'm going to say what we talked about on Saturday. I think there's only 3 or 4 things that I care about for AMC right now. Q3 earnings, Q4 earnings, net income, cash burn in Q3, how bad's it going to be, and doing about 5 quarters of cash flow forecasting. People say, why do you follow AMC if you don't own it? Why do you care? Because I think if you can understand those things, and especially if you can forecast cash flow, you can figure out an optimal entry if one exists. Or maybe more importantly, avoid an entry before you're going to get wrecked by required cash raise. That's why I follow it. I'm an A-list member. I go to movies. But if you're not paying attention and you're not really crunching these numbers, you can get wrecked still, potentially, in that ticker. So more than what Adam is tweeting about, more than Netflix, those are the things that I'm watching in the next 90 days. And once we get the Q3 earnings behind us, I will really sit down and do my next 5 quarters of cash flow analysis. And that's really where I sit here and I spend a day or two and I try and think like Sean Goodman. What is the box office forecast by quarter for next year and Q4? What is the cash position on the balance sheet? Are they going to have any quarter where they are going to run low on cash? Are they going to ever feel tempted to need to raise $200 million? Or is the box office going to be so good that they can coast through next year and let the box office grow? That's going to be your secret to being a good trader for AMC, figuring out cash flow. Oh, Richie, my first entry on Beyond was like 668, and then it dipped down close to 6, and I bought a little bit more, and I think it brought my cost average to like 630. I was going much smaller position size because of the added risk and the uncertainty and not wanting to give back all the gains I made yesterday. And I said as I was buying it, if it goes down from here, I am immediately exiting the trade. And I did have to do that because that 11:30 magic pop did not happen today. So I did give a little bit back today, but the goal was get on the table, see if we can play. If the odds in our favor, we let it roll. And if it turns against us, you got to get out right away. And that's what I did. You got to be ruthless. You got to know your plan ahead of time. Follow your trading plan. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. It's okay. don't fucking lose all the way back down to negative numbers. Protect your capital like it's one of your children. Denaro Pizzeria. I like it, Andrew. I haven't thought about that. I did have some friends that were in the bar industry and the restaurant industry. If you're familiar with the chain called Trulux, I'm friends with the founder of that company. It's a high-end crab and seafood restaurant around the country. And I used to talk to him a lot. In his younger days, he owned some bars down here, downtown Austin. Now he's got a national restaurant chain. Really nice guy. And I said, I always wanted to open a bar. And this was when I was in my probably late 40s. He's like, oh no, Tony? He said, no, that's a young man's game. And he said, there's always someone going to open up across the street from you and offer drinks for $1 less. He said, don't do it. I think I was single at the time. I had probably gotten divorced, and, having a bar or two downtown Austin seems like a pretty fun thing. But when people smarter than me have been there and done that and tell me don't even think about it, I listen. Chappie, what's up? Chappie Lanips. We love the name Chappie. He says it's mid and micro stock squeeze season. You have to get in early. You can't chase. You think YYAI is going to be a banger, huh? We were checking in on it. I want you to keep IMPP on your radar overnight and in pre-market tomorrow. But we were watching YYAI today, and it didn't look like it was trying to do anything. It bled out, and then it had a recovery. So, I mean, that's okay. Volume 2.5 billion shares. Free float 5 million shares. Turnover on the float 17,000% turnover. Is this thing even shorted? YYAI? I'm curious. I don't think we looked at this earlier. I don't remember if we did. YYAI. What the heck is even going on with this thing? It's barely even shorted. The people will tell you, oh, the criminals, they're just creating shares out of thin air because they don't want to lose on their short. No, there's almost no shorts in this thing as of the end of September. Cost to borrow is what? It did get a spike in cost to borrow. So the shorts were trying to spank it today. You see that jump? This is actually end of day, 103%. Yeah, there were barely shorts interested in this play before. They're interested now. How do I know? Because the cost to borrow is going up. Demand for shares is increasing. I'd be careful. But then, the reason why there's not that many shorts in this, they don't typically short a 18-cent stock. Not even on their radar. The volume probably got it on somebody's radar today. Yeah, in at 7 cents. Beautiful. If you catch it early, like someone was saying in the chat earlier, Chappie, if you got to catch these things early. It gives you a whole lot more optionality. Chris, I see your question there. He says, our overnight market is limited by boats, so if it ran up huge in Korea, we wouldn't see that price action. Is BYND listed on a Korean exchange? I mean, you're telling me it is, so I believe you, but I'm going to double check. Grok is telling me it is not listed in Korea. There are no records of a secondary listing, depository receipts, or direct trading on the KRX. South Korean investors can access BYND through OTC trading or international brokers, but it's not natively listed on Korean exchanges. I'm not going to say I'm an expert on the Korean market or what they have access to, Chris, so I don't know that I can give you some intelligent answer. There are some things I know, some things I'm fairly confident about, and some things I'll just have to tell you I don't know. Have I ever been to the Lodge Cars Club? If I recall, there used to be a place called the Lodge on West 6th Street. Our clubbing days are slowing down, friends, especially 6th Street. If we're talking bars. But when you say the Lodge, I'm thinking of this 2-level bar on West 6th Street. My wife and I, you know, we're both past the age bracket to be really nightclub downtown bar hoppers in Austin. We'll go to country western honky tonk. We'll go to salsa dancing events. Sometimes we'll do some Tejano dancing. We'll show up and we'll be the only 2 white people there. How do they know how to do this? Surprise, motherfuckers. My wife did not have any formal training in any sort of Tejano Mexican music or dancing. I have, and she's just a really good follow. It's that kind of scene where there's a band playing in a Mexican restaurant at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, and there's a little dance floor and everybody's bebopping around and doing cumbia or whatever, and we come out there and they kind of spread out like, oh boy, let's watch the gringos. Huh, they're not too bad. That's pretty funny. Yes, Chris, I saw that Korea, that we had a lot of Korean investors in the live stream earlier today and a lot of German investors too. Guten Abend, if you're watching from Germany tonight, you're up late. What is it, it's about 3 in the morning there now. I doubt any of them are up still. Zachary, yeah. IMAX earnings will be in the morning tomorrow. Cinemark is in the morning in a week or so. Marcus Corp will be at 10 a.m. in a week or so, and then AMC will be after hours on November 5th. Oh, is the Lodge the Lodge is a poker room? That's Card Club. I would bet you, Miller, that my wife has been there and her dad. They are poker sharks. Her dad taught her how to play poker when she was young. She comes in, this young little redhead. People underestimate her and she cleans up. there's many nights, not recently, she hasn't been playing poker recently, but there were many nights her dad would come over here and pick her up and they'd go to the poker lounge. She'd always invite me, but I was probably doing live streams or working, doing other stuff. Sometimes I went. I'm not as good as poker as them, not as good at poker as them. But her dad would pick her up, they'd go play, she'd come back, $500 in cash. Like, hell yeah. Not too bad. Not every time, but plenty of times. So if that is a poker hall, they've been to all of them. I've been to a few of them with them, but I'm not a regular. If I go to Vegas, I'm playing craps. I started out playing blackjack, and then I realized craps was much more high energy, and I made a lot more money playing craps. Never really got into poker. What time is it here? 8:50. We're going to go about 9 more minutes because I do want to be up early. We'll take a look at Airwa in the morning. We'll take a look at BYND, of course. If it's popping, we'll do a live stream tomorrow morning. I started pre-market today. If it's any of these are popping tomorrow, hey, let's make some money. And IMPP. Keep an eye on that one. Looks like it does not have overnight trading. So they closed extended hours at 7:09. $2 run up. Not too bad on the Trump news. Yeah, I did see them, Chris, the Korean folks. Anybody from Korea watching right now? Can you fill us in? YDKG. Oh, we also, don't forget, we have the IMAX earnings call in the morning. I will be here for that. I think it's 7:30 Central. Yeah, that's a nice run up after hours on YDKG. What is this company? FinTech. Crypto. How's crypto looking tonight? 108 still on Bitcoin. What the heck happened here, my friend? Chappie. $5 down to 4 cents. I mean, at a certain point, kind of like what we were talking about on BYND, when a stock drops like that, it almost doesn't matter what the bad news was. You can get some temporary healthy bounces. This looks like the same damn shit. 4 cents, it ran up to what, about 8? I don't generally trade these, penny. This is a literal penny stock, but what the heck happened to this thing? On the 15th, it got cremated. Direct offering 6 days ago. All right, I got a little reading to do before I go to sleep tonight. Market cap is 10 million and they have a 28 million offering. That kind of tells me what I need to know. 10 million market cap and you're going to do a direct offering of another 28 million. But to drop from $3 to 4 cents, that seems like a little bit of overkill on the price running down, even with a direct offering. What else is going on with this thing? Blah, blah, Black Sheep says, watch Stock Retail's DD video he put out today. What I gathered from it, there's a proxy vote on November 19th. December 9th is the date. And I will watch his video, but I will also tell you guys, he blocked me about 10 days ago for talking about the proxy vote. You know, I'm not a big fan of people that are so head in the sand that they can't have adult conversations. I've been a AMC bull and an A-list member, and I guarantee you I've seen 100, 200x more movies at AMC than he ever dreams about. And you're going to block me because I'm talking about the proxy vote? Don't be a pansy. Oh, but you are allowing conversation with people that have a different viewpoint than me. Grow up, bros. Grow up. The market is made of people with different opinions. And we should be able to have discussions with these people. I do not tolerate people that act like children. I don't tolerate people that only have insults to say. That's an instant block. Of course, you want to block out crappy negative people, energy vampires, but someone like me, I'm so fucking bullish on this company that people say I'm paid for by the company, which is horseshit. I don't own the stock right now because of some certain corporate actions that are coming up. That doesn't mean that I don't want to see AMC succeed, but you're going to block me because I'm allowing discussion to happen? Oh, man. You got to be real careful with these people, guys. These are the people that create cults. They don't allow any dissenting conversation. And he has gotten the interest expense incorrect last quarter. He's going to get it incorrect again on Q3. Keeps telling y'all the interest expense is going down because of the refinancings. No, the interest rates are going up. The interest expense is going up. I've been telling y'all that on my videos. He's been telling y'all the opposite. He's been wrong. If you got to start every video telling everyone about your 2 master's degrees, what are you compensating for? I don't need to tell y'all my qualifications every video. I will rest my reputation on results. I do have a degree in economics with a minor in finance and banking 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. Can you read a financial statement? Can you properly read a filing? Can you communicate information in an unbiased way that doesn't lose people money? That's all that matters at the end of the day. I exited the trade close to $5 back in November because I was very concerned based on what I was seeing that we were going to be at the $2 range like we are right now. And I was not incorrect. Meanwhile, he's telling y'all you're going to win. I mean, it's fine to be optimistic, but you got to be able to have conversations. You got to be able to have conversations. And he's welcome to come have a conversation at any time, but he won't do it with someone like me that knows the financials better than him and will ask the tough questions. I will ask the tough questions. I'll share the tough information with you guys as well as the bullish information. Because if you're not properly informed, you're going to make bad decisions. When the moment is right, I will go back long in the stock. It's not there for me yet. Zachary says, There are AMC investors who appreciate your content. They just can't say so. I know. If you say anything in support of me, you get blocked by everybody. Welcome to my life. Others are upset because they felt there was two-faced behavior. I mean, you can want a company to win and also read the financials and understand cash flows and predict what is going to happen. That's not being negative against the company. They got to raise money. If you're going to lose money in a quarter, you got to raise money. And you all need to be able to see that coming so you can get out of the way. I've stepped out of the way of the last 3 dilutions and then come back in after the price got dropped. And then I make good trades. That makes some people mad. Oh, you're swing trading AMC. I'm protecting my capital. I'm buying when it's smart. I'm getting out before a dilution that I can see coming. I tell you guys it's coming in advance, and it happens. And people get mad because why? Someone told you that it's going to be fine. Someone told you it's not going to happen, and they're wrong every time. If the company's got to raise money, they got to raise money. I don't fault them for that. We just got to be smart enough to see it coming and predict what's going to happen to the price. It's really just black and white. It's simple. There's no emotion to it. Blah, blah says, are we talking about Beyond? Yeah, well, I went on a tangent about stock retail and AMC. I haven't watched his video. You're telling me it's about Beyond. Why? Why did he make a video on Beyond? Did he trade it like we did? Did he talk about it, tell you about it on Saturday like we did? Or is he just glomming on because it had high volume? We've been talking about Beyond here since Saturday when it was 60 cents. We gave you a heads up. That's about all I got to say. Are you talking about the play before it happens, or are you trying to get some views after the trade's done? And if you can't communicate information in a 10-minute video, I don't really like watching 1-hour videos. I think that you can communicate information quickly, succinctly. I edit my videos. I edit out 5-second pauses because I respect your time that much. If I'm stopping to gather my thoughts for a second, if I say anything, I delete all that shit out because I want you to get quick, crisp info. I learned from some of the best editors. I know the GameStop people hate it. Why does he edit his videos? Because that is what a pro does, my friends. Sudeep says, can you explain why Beyond may pop tomorrow? I'm not predicting that it will pop tomorrow, but let me recap what we said about Beyond. The chart is not looking good. I'm going to talk norms here for a second. When there are norms of how these trades go, and then there are outliers where they surprise us. The norm on a trade like this is tomorrow will be a red day. Sometimes, occasionally, not every time, they surprise us with a revival. Typically, the revival needs a little bit further fall, like down to maybe $1 or $2, and then you get your second rally. But whether that second rally happens tomorrow or Friday, they generally rarely go past where they were up here at the peak. Occasionally, even more rarely, you get this massive, like GameStop 2021, where you're bouncing all around and then boom, off to the moon. Those are super rare. The reason that I'm not super confident that Beyond will bounce tomorrow is because I'm seeing, like happens many times on these plays, people have not internalized that the float increased to 373 million. And they were trading on incorrect information that the float was 63 million shares. And the shorts were just waiting for the price to get high enough to spank them. So my message for the last 24 hours is start peeling off your profits. That's what I was saying last night and into this morning. Don't be scared to take some off because of what happened today. Because so many people were trading on incorrect info. And you're at a disadvantage if you're believing people pushing misinformation. Chappie says, when AMC gets momentum, you have to let it stretch his legs. AA kills off at any sign of an uptick in stock price. I'm just going to say this, Chappie. I think the CFO is the one calling the shots here. The CFO, Sean Goodman, his job is to forecast cash flows and box office. He's probably doing it 2 years out. I would bet you when they have their board meetings, they go through a 2-year forecast. And they know with a relatively high degree of certainty what quarters they're going to make money on and which ones they're likely to lose money on. Unfortunately, they don't share that info with us. How do I know that info exists? Because I read the court documents back in the AMC Ape lawsuit, and some of those documents were made public. And so I know they do this stuff. Any corporate finance team is going to be doing forecasting. That's their job. So when the company is coming to a point where liquidity is going to be an issue, cash on the balance sheet, and you got bills to pay the next quarter, they are going to raise money. It's inevitable. Where, if you were them, would you rather raise money at $1.90 or $3? You'd prefer to do it at $3. So from your perspective as a retail trader, you think they're trying to snub a run. They're trying to be as intelligent about it as they can to sell shares at the highest price they can get. They know, the market knows that the quarter is going to be bad, that the company is going to lose money. Look, if I can forecast it, you damn sure know hedge funds can forecast it, analysts can forecast it, institutional traders know it. So I just think that they're being as smart as they can. Yes, it does appear that they're snubbing each run by doing a cash raise, but they're trying to be as intelligent about it as they can. They'd rather raise it $3 than $1.90. But I get what you're saying. The appearance is bad, but you got to think like they think. We're going to have another t-shirt that says, think like a CFO. I think if you can learn to think like Sean Goodman, you can make a lot of money trading AMC. Not everybody has that. Not all of y'all have taken a finance class or an accounting class. Or not all of y'all are ready to be honest with yourself. I just had to let all emotion, hype, I had to let it all go. When AMC ran out of shares and cash in 2022, and they had to do that ape thing, we had to let everything go. And that made a lot of people mad. We had to let everything go and start paying attention to cash flow. And it's been the right call. If you can learn to think like Sean, you'll do good on this trade. And yeah, Zachary, AMC asked for more shares in 2021. Even I remember saying, I'm not voting for that shit. I was dumb. We should have given them more shares in 2021. We were all stupid. they could have knocked out billions of more in debt. And all in the end, all they had was enough liquidity to survive. And about the upcoming vote, not the Beyond one, there is a Beyond vote coming. I'll do a video on the Beyond vote this weekend. It's not important right now. The AMC vote, whatever we decide, I bought a couple shares just so I can vote. Whatever we decide will determine the future of AMC. But there's no, in my book, no super optimal outcomes here. The super optimal outcome is box office. We know AMC, even if box office is great next year in 2027, both, they're not going to make enough to substantially pay down the debt. What I hope is they make enough to not have to do a liquidity cash raise. Oh, we're down to 200 million in cash. We need to raise another 100 million. That's what I'm hopeful for. That's why the Q3 earnings is going to be really important. But even if they don't need to raise money for liquidity, they will raise money to do debt for equity swaps. Not raise money, but they'll trade shares out. There'll be more dilution. But you got to fix it. You got to fix it. They have no choice. They have to fix the balance sheet. It's that or die a slow death. My prediction, I don't give voting instructions. Please vote however you wish, whatever your little heart tells you. I know some of y'all are adamant no votes. I'm not here to try and change your mind. You vote however you want. But if the shareholders don't support the company and the no vote were to win, I don't think that's a likely outcome. But if that were to happen, it's pretty grim for AMC beyond that. So it'll be more dilution if the yes vote passes, no doubt. You better be planning for that. Same conversation we had in 2023. But the no vote, cutting off all ability to raise money, seems like that would be far worse outcome. Seems to me that would be a short's dream. Seems to me people pushing that narrative don't like AMC, they don't like Adam Aron, they don't watch movies, and they don't care about anything except their feelings. They got their feelings hurt because they didn't exit the trade when their heart told them to exit back in 2022, 2023. They held on praying for a short squeeze. Now they're mad. They hate the world. Yeah, Tubby Tubby says Beyond has lost money since inception. Doesn't matter if Walmart pays them to carry their products. I'm not a fan of the products. I'm just a fan of momentum trades. We do have fans of the products in the Discord, and that's fine if you like Beyond Meat. But I would urge you, if you're thinking that you're going to become a long-term shareholder of Beyond, you better understand that November vote. We'll talk about it this weekend. I need to have time to go read all the filings, all that proxy. Chappie says we need to stay above $1 to stay on the NYSE. I'm looking at the AMC market cap, 1.4, 1.5 billion. And I'm thinking that's a pretty reasonable point for AMC. And I'm hoping that that they don't issue. I'm hoping that they're very diligent about not issuing shares. Because if you issue a bunch of shares and the market cap's trying to stay around 1.4, 1.5 billion, then you're going to push the price down. We're already below $5 AMC. But we certainly don't want to issue enough shares that we drop it below 2, below 1. Then there are people saying, oh, he's just going to reverse split it again. I hope not. But if they have to dilute so much that they push the price down to $1, maybe they have to. I don't know. I'm not thinking that far ahead. I'm not predicting a reverse split. We'll cross that bridge. Let's see how they manage these new shares. Let's see how they manage them and how the box office is. All I can do, guys, is go see movies and buy some concessions. And at a certain point, look, the box office is expected to be really good for the next 2 years. So I'm hoping that's enough to keep the market cap up and keep the cash flowing in and minimize any needs for dilution. Zachary says, I held through it all, got diluted every time. I'm not mad, learned valuable lessons. That's all you can do, Zach. If you learned a lesson from it, there's value in that. Sean says, did I go see Tron? And he also says, thanks for all the work you put in reading all that mess. I enjoy reading them. Like I said, I've been reading 10K documents since my 20s when they used to mail them to us in book form. I've always had this perverse enjoyment out of reading and learning. But now all the information is at our fingertips. It's so much better now. And that is really the key to unlocking the trades. I wish I had a supercomputer like these hedge funds where they could digest the info. I wish I was a finance professional that I could, not have to spend hours reading these things and making sure I understand them. But what I've tried to do is leverage my education, which was in that field, and then surround myself with other people that are smarter than me, accountants, bond traders, finance guys. If I have a question, I don't understand something, I will ask somebody. Even if it's not the answer I'm going to want to hear, I want to know the truth. I might not agree. I might still do something different, but I want to get inputs and opinions. I did see Tron in IMAX. I enjoyed it. I would say if you're going to watch it, go watch it in IMAX or Dolby because of the sound. I'm disappointed that people didn't like it as much as we had hoped, but they haven't liked much in October. I mean, I really did my homework getting ready for Tron. I rewatched the first one. I rewatched the second one. I even I watched all of the damn cartoons. Like 16 episodes. My wife is like, what are you doing watching cartoons? I'm getting ready for watching Tron, babe. Ben says, has AI helped you? Here's what I'll say about AI and the finance sector, Ben. You know a few things, right? Is this the same Ben from X? AI can be helpful to you in the finance sector, but it is also wrong a lot. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you're not going to know it's wrong. And I see a huge problem on social media. People ask a question to Grok or Perplexity or Chat GPT. It spits out this long answer that sounds super intelligent. And every fucking bit of it is incorrect. And if you don't know what you're asking, you don't know the details of what you're asking, you're not able to parse that information for accuracy, you're going to believe what AI tells you, and it's going to be completely wrong. I catch AI in mistakes in just about every query I make related to finance or stocks. It's good at helping you understand maybe some conceptual things that, like if you want to get a quick education on bond delta hedging, just go ask some general questions. But then you're going to ask it, tell me about the GME delta hedging bonds. It's going to probably spit out some inaccurate information. And then you got to go correct it. No, they don't. No, you're telling me info on old bonds. What about the new ones? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you meant the new bonds. It's like that on most of the inquiries. Stupid AI. You really got to know what you're asking. So yes, it can be useful, but it also can be very dangerous if you believe it without question and you have no general expertise in that area. And these AI slop people on social media really piss me off. They'll have AI write them a book and they'll post it as some inspirational tweet, and then it's like all incorrect. They were doing it on BYND, and then they were trying to argue with me. I'm like, I can tell your post is bullshit written by AI. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't even try and argue with me. I liked Ready Player One too, Andrew. I watched that movie several times. If it came on TV, I'd watch it again. I mean, if I just was randomly surfing channels and I came across that, I'd watch it again. That was a good movie. What I said about the new Tron movie is the story was kind of boring and predictable, but just the spectacle of it all, I enjoyed a lot. Chappie says the market structure and rules are hidden and deceptive, and that is meant to confuse people. Yeah. I mean, even the experts that I call on sometimes don't know the answer. I wish I knew somebody at a ARB fund or a hedge fund that could answer some of these questions that we really want to know. Maybe when my son gets a job up there in New York, we can make some new contacts. He's finishing up his degree and should be in New York next year. Maybe he can put me in touch with some people. I don't know. I don't know yet what company he's going to work for or what segment of the industry. Investment banking, hedge fund, who knows? Accounting, could be anything. Don't know yet. Mark says, does BYND still have legs? I'm not hopeful for it, Mark, but as we were saying, sometimes they have a little repeat. We'll know in the pre-market tomorrow. I think a lot of people were trading on bad info today, which is kind of my message from last night. Peel off profits. I'm just on a stock like this, they're hard to predict. I will be a momentum trader. If it's going down, I'm going to stay out. I'm not going to try and catch a fallen knife. There's no redeeming qualities here of BYND. It's not going to be the short squeeze to surpass GameStop. These are all pumper lies. But if it has momentum, if the high-speed traders and the day traders are moving it tomorrow, I'll ride that boat for a little bit. Forget all of social media. Just look at the chart. Use your head. Mark says they say no shares left to borrow. They also lie to you, Mark. This would be a good lesson to kind of wrap this chat up with, because I know a lot of y'all have not been with me for 4 years. And we talk about this often because I want you to have good info. Whether you're looking at Chart Exchange, whether you're looking at Fintel, when they say no shares to borrow, right? People will screenshot this and they'll post it on social media. They'll go here and they'll post it on social media. We got them on the run. No shorts, no shares left to borrow. How do they lie to you? Why do I tell you that they're lying? Because they don't tell you about the fine print. Look up here. Interactive brokers. Look down here. Footnote 1, data from interactive brokers. We're literally looking at one lending pool out of 100. Now, do you still think there's 0 shares available? What we know is that interactive brokers had no shares available. What we know is that their cost to borrow fee was 46%. That's not the entire lendable pool. Now, I have this conversation with you guys every time we have a squeeze play like this. You got to understand the data. And Fintel tells you the same thing. It's the same data. This table shows the number of shares available at a leading brokerage. It's interactive brokers. It is not the total number of shares available to short. They're even more clear with you. This is not indicative of the lending pool. So understand, if someone is telling you 0 shares available, they are either a dum-dum or they're lying to you on purpose. I don't know which. I don't cast any judgment, but they don't know what they're talking about. YOLO, oh no, how you doing, governor? He says, buy low, sell high. We love that strategy, Dan. Thank you. Mark says, what if all the options are in the money and are exercised? They're not going to be, Mark, first of all. I want you to go chat GPT it, grok it. I want you guys to, we've been talking about this with the GameStop warrants, but it applies to warrants, it applies to options, it applies to convertible bonds. There is a theorem taught in college classes. Everybody, any finance bro knows this. It's called first of all, no exercise early. You don't exercise warrants early, you don't exercise bonds early, and you don't exercise options early. You're asking about what happens if they, at market close on Friday. I'm promise you I'm going to get there. But you don't exercise early, because if you exercise early, you're leaving time value on the table. You're giving up profits. So most people will sell the convertible bond. They will sell the warrant. They will sell the option, not exercise it. But if you make it all the way to maturity or expiration date, then you might have some exercising or of warrants, convertible bonds, options. It's just what I'm telling the GameStop guys. You are not going to have all these warrants exercised until October 31st, 2026. I don't care. I will argue with you for the next year. Not going to happen. There's not going to be some announcement in February that all the warrants were exercised. That's just people talking about shit they don't understand. Could people exercise warrants on Friday on Beyond? Yes, but 70 to 80% of warrants are closed out prior to expiration. This is market facts you can go look up. 70, 80, some would say 90% will just be sold. They'll sell to close, buy to close. So I'm not going to give any credence to this dream, this rally cry that if we just all hold our options and then exercise, we can squeeze the shorts. I mean, I get the theory, it's just not a practical reality. What's happening with options right now is people were buying shares or even naked selling calls to frothy retail traders that thought it's going to $100. And the vast majority of those options are going to end up worthless by Friday, would be my guess. And Wall Street's going to say, thank you very much. Gotcha. That's my prediction, Mark. Mark says if everyone stays in and holds, it has to. I mean, I get it, Mark. I lived the life in 2021. Everybody just hold. And what have I seen for 4 years? Everybody who did that in any ticker got wrecked. So I can't condone that talking point. I condone one thing: get in early, take profits. Don't hold shit that's going down. Another t-shirt. It's just not a reality. This is not a team sport. I know the Bears used to tell us that in 2021. No, they're right. It's not a fucking team sport. We don't have enough people, and there's way too much institutional money, computer algorithmic trading, high-speed trading firms. Look, 2.2 billion shares. You think that's all retail? You think all? No. There's nobody interested in holding beyond. A couple people on Reddit. People are going to trade it and take profits or exit to not lose money. So, I mean, you can believe it, and I'm not going to, we can still be friends. We can talk about other stuff, but I'm just saying, I did not grow up the last 30 years trading meme stocks or short squeeze plays, but I've spent a inordinate amount of time sitting here for 4 years in every trade you can imagine. Trading some of them, just following others, getting a pulse of the retail sentiment, everything you can imagine. BBIG, BBYQ, MMAT, MMTLP, predicted for many of them exactly what was going to happen before it happened. How did I learn that? The School of Hard Knocks in 2021, and then just applied learning and sitting here every day from 5, 6, 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, driving my wife crazy. What are you doing? I'm reading a fucking filing. There's so much to learn, but you gotta unplug from social media. It's fun. It's good to keep a pulse of what social media is thinking, but most of the time they're not correct. Sentiment is important. It can help you recognize a trade coming like Beyond Meat, but you got to get in early and then get out. Zachary, that is, we were talking about this the past couple nights. The volume on AMC is the one little nugget that I haven't cracked yet. We can't figure out who's buying AMC and why. I know that the popular talking point is the institutions are loading the boat because Q4 is going to be great and 2026 is going to be even better. I'm not going to say no. That could be, but there could be other answers, and I'm going to relentlessly keep searching for the answer. I'm talking to bond traders. I'm talking to Wall Street people. I'm reading filings. I'm rereading filings from July. I'm looking at the proxy. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is their strategy here. Knowing that a dilution vote is around the corner in 2 months. Am I just missing something? Am I missing the boat? Am I being too pessimistic about cash burn? They see something I don't? Or are they're just taking a position because they know they can sell us options and then they're going to unwind it? Are they hedging convertible bonds? I mean, there's so many things at play. And I tweeted out a couple days ago, and I mean this, you better learn to think like an institutional trader. And I say that because I try and do that every day. If you can understand what they're doing, what their motivations are, you can start getting some better trades. We can win sometimes, like the past 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days. We can win sometimes on BYND, but at some point, they got way more money than we do and way more intelligence in terms of the amount of information they have access to. We're hamstrung in the amount of info that we have, and even the info that gets shared is often incorrect in the retail community. So it's unfortunate. That's why I just say play the chart. Understand the sentiment, but play the chart. Yeah, Richie, I haven't looked at selling covered calls on GME because the volatility is getting dried up. And someone, was it you, Richie? Someone was asking me in the comments on one of my YouTube videos today, this afternoon, right before I came on live. He said, because in general, you know, what I've told you guys on GameStop, the bond traders, the reason they bought those bonds at 0% is because they see GameStop generally as a high volatility stock, and that's how they make their money. Volatility trading and hedging the bonds and looking for inefficiencies. They don't care about the interest rate. They don't care about the shares. They're looking for volatility. And he said, but Tony, you just said the volatility. No, he said, Tony, the volatility looks like it's drying up on GameStop. It is. It's a funny thing with convertible bonds. The delta hedging, they make their most money through volatility, but the fact that they're hedging also dries up volatility. It's like a catch-22. So what these bond traders want in GameStop is they want the price to get wrecked. They want people to get demoralized. Then they want some good news to pump it right back up to 25, 28, 30, because they're going to make a mint. So I think that if you can understand that and you can get in a good entry on GameStop, there's some swing trade opportunities ahead of us, would be my guess. If the volatility stays dead in GameStop, these bond traders will sell the bonds, they'll leave, or they can put the bonds back to the company, but not till 2028. They're not going to sit there and make no money. They'll either leave or they'll put the bonds back. But I think they're here because they know they can create, or Ryan Cohen will create volatility, or just us will create volatility. Expect volatility in GameStop. Learn to trade it. Learn to expect it. Buy when it's cheap. Sell into the run-ups. They're going to smack it back down. The higher GameStop goes, the more they will short to hedge their bonds. We make the rockets, Andrew. Yeah, there will be volatility. Will return to GameStop. Might be a few weeks, a few months, probably around earnings would be my guess. But the bond traders do not like sitting around on low volatility. They do not like that. And you need to understand that so you can predict what's going to happen. GameStop got a lot of free cash. Yeah, I mean, it works out great for everybody except retail traders, Mark. The bond traders make money whether the price goes up or down on GameStop. They do not care if their trade and their ARB strategy is well thought out. They will make money no matter the price action. And Ryan Cohen got $4 billion of free cash. It's beautiful for all of them. we're left kind of hanging. And I still think you can make some good trades in GameStop, but you better stop listening to these dum-dums and learn to swing trade it. Jacob says, I keep telling myself to not get involved with meme stocks. Ended up FOMOing into this of 660 down around 420. I tried to jump in midday today, Jacob. I had sold my position yesterday. And I was thinking around 11:30 might be the magic hour. So I jumped in around the same price as you live this morning. And then, but I said, as I'm buying this, I said, if this ticks down on me, I'm immediately going to exit. Like, you got to already know your plan and don't second guess your plan. Yes, Kenneth, there is more dilution news coming from BYND. The float is on the screen. So the float is far higher than what your screen is showing from your broker. It's not 63 million, it's 372 million. That already happened. That happened last week, and the lockup on those shares got released last week. We talked about this on Saturday. But it was so cheap and all the bad news was baked in, we figured there could be a good little run early this week, and it happened. Beautiful. But people will figure it out the hard way, that the float is increased and that there's plenty of shares to borrow. All the evidence you need is look at the cost to borrow from last week to today. 500% down to 40. You know there's plenty of shares out there. Is there more dilution news after this? Corax was here earlier and he said something about some more convertible bonds being exercised for shares. I don't know about that. I haven't seen that filing, but there is a vote in late November to be aware of. But I think we'll all be out of this trade before that vote happens. So I haven't really delved deep into that. I might do it this weekend if I have free time. That's going to be one general rule I have for you guys. And I do it whether I'm taking a long-term trade or not. Like when I'm buying the stock, I'm already, if you're in my Discord, you already know this. When I buy something, I try and put like my 12-month target where I would exit the trade, or at least lighten up my position. Sometimes I get out too early, you know, like a Palantir exited too early. What else? SoFi exited too early. But I had my plan. I made my money. Double your money. Get out. I got to get better at not selling my whole position. You know, if I could be honest with myself, sometimes I should be better at letting some shares ride. That's probably the thing that I need to work on the most. If I really believe in the company and I bought it cheap, if you got in at SoFi at $4 and it runs to 9 or 10, you don't need to sell your whole position, Tony. Sell 75%, let the rest ride. Kenneth, I want you to keep an eye on, in the morning, on IMPP. The old Greek shipping company has resurrected from the dead in after hours today. So keep an eye on that one in the morning. That's one I'm going to be watching. And I'll be watching BYND. And I will see you guys. If pre-market is popping, I'll be on in pre-market. If not, I will see you guys on the IMAX earnings call. And we'll get our first little update about how Q3 is looking for these cinema exhibitors. Thank you guys for your time tonight. Thanks for the great questions, the great discussion. I love answering your questions, having, you know, you guys make me think. Hopefully I make you think a little bit. We may not always agree. That's fine. I want to have a good group of people that can challenge each other with questions. It's okay to believe different things. Just be an adult about it. Because at the end of the day, we are all here to make money. I'm not here to short stocks. Some people do, that's fine. It won't hurt my feelings. I want to find a good entry and ride something up and bet on the good guys. Some people will tell me you're leaving half your trades on the table doing that. Well, you know, I decided that long ago. I don't short stocks. I don't like unmitigated risk. Anya, IMAX will be at 8:30 your time, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. So I need to wrap this up and try and get a few hours sleep. And I know I'll be up at 5 a.m. anyway, so. We will see y'all mañana en la mañana. Adios, muchas gracias. Let's go out with a little bit of a green candle up, a red candle down. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
A blue candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. But the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. But the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. But the short we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Green candle up and red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. GameStop's rising, going strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. But the shorts we're going on. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground.